What's good, y'all? Blacksmith here, and today we're here to talk about the Michael Jackson biopic, aptly titled Michael. The modern-day film adaptation that chronicles the life and rise of the beloved entertainer Michael Jackson is finally here, and man, do we have a lot to talk about. As a lifelong Michael Jackson fan, I have seen and listened to everything this man has created, from movies and concerts to every version of every album that I could find. So I'm here to give you an honest answer to the question, is this movie worth the hype? Let's talk about it. This movie's plot is pretty self-explanatory. It chronicles the life and times and rise to fame of the talented entertainer Michael Jackson. And with this movie being a biopic about an actual person and actual events that have happened in their life, I'm not going to talk about the pros and cons in a bullet point list style as I normally would, but I am going to talk about what I liked and didn't like. So, let's get into it. The acting in this film is phenomenal. When it comes to Jafar Jackson, he completely embodied his uncle. It was almost as if watching Michael Jackson on screen, from every way that he moved and danced to the way that he spoke, his mannerisms. As far as we all knew him as the general public, it was basically like watching Michael. And as weird as it is to say, Coleman Domingo did a fantastic job playing Joe Jackson. Every other actor did a fantastic job in embodying their characters as they related to Michael. Unfortunately, that's all the nice things I can say about it, because everything else around this movie was pretty bad. And I know I said earlier I wasn't going to make a list, but that's probably because there were a lot more cons to this movie than there were pros. So if we had to make a list of cons, let's start with the story and how it's executed. The movie starts off in 1966 when Michael's like 8 and ends in 1988, and every event that they chose to show between those years played out more like a highlight reel rather than showing the events that would make him into the person that he is instead of just the superstar. And during the beginning of the movie, they skipped over so many events that made him into the star and the person that he is, and didn't really do justice to his actual story and his rise to fame. And I know the focus is all about Michael, but when it came to the Jackson 5, it almost seemed as if they played the background to Michael, when in reality, if you were to talk to anyone who was there during that time, the main focus wasn't just on Michael, it was on all of the brothers. This movie played it like it was Michael Jackson featuring the Jackson 5, even though later down the line you could argue that that's what it became, but not in the beginning. And based on the events they chose to show in this movie, we definitely got a more watered down version of his life story, because we all know that there was a lot more that happened with the Jackson 5 and Michael in the 70s and 80s. And on top of that, a lot of characters who were central in his development as an artist and a person were also very underutilized. Take Berry Gordy and Quincy Jones, for instance. Yes, they're in the movie, but they did not show how they helped develop Michael into the artist that he became. And there was drama that came along with that too, especially with Quincy. And I think that would have made a good plot point for the movie. I hope that wasn't too much of a spoiler, but if you know, you know. And lastly, I'll talk about the production choices, from horrible CGI to the music that they chose to play and use for him to perform. They could have picked better songs and cleaned up the CGI in a better way, to the point where it wasn't so obvious and so trashy looking. And I'm very well aware that they had to do reshoots to clean up the end of the movie due to legal reasons, but that doesn't excuse what they could have done to add more depth to the story. All in all, Jafar Jackson's performance as Michael, as good as it was, is not able to save this movie from horrible production choices and horrible storytelling. And don't get me wrong, this movie looks great. Looks fantastic, actually. I mean, it got the director of Training Day and the producer of Bohemian Rhapsody. But there's still so much more they could have done, and it's a little bit disappointing that the potential of this movie was not met. And that's coming from a true Michael Jackson fan. I will say, they did do one thing right, and I hope I'm not spoiling too much, but... So, if you're like me and you're a big Michael Jackson fan, or you just want to see an entertaining music movie, then I'm not going to stop you from checking this out, but just know that you're not going to see or hear anything new. Thanks for checking out my review. Let me know if you plan on seeing this movie. Let me know if you've already seen it and what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about my review, and give this video a like and your boy a follow. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, peace.